Hello, Cortex Vortex listeners, and welcome back to The Vortex, where we talk about how neuroscience, cognitive science, and philosophy can help us get a better understanding of ourselves, the people around us, and our world. So for this episode, I'm going to propose that we can switch our approach to learning and kind of our mindset going into our learning and what we want to get out of it to have a more rewarding experience and to also just be able to understand the material that we're learning way better. So, without further ado, let's step into the vortex. The way that a lot of the systems and the education systems are built through our adolescence is what I like to think of as a closed approach to learning, if you imagine like a closed box. But this is in place so that everyone is able to get kind of the fundamentals of information that we can learn, and this can allow you to be motivated to do well in an exam, to get a good job, to get a good grade in a class, and so on. So this approach is in place for a valid reason. It allows our society to function the way that it does, and it allows like the masses to get kind of like a baseline of knowledge. But I argue that we can get way more out of our learning if we change our approach, if we change our closed box approach to kind of opening the box and seeing that there's actually so much that we can learn and so much that we can gain out of our experience. So this open approach to learning that I'm talking about, it has to do with allowing your curiosity, your authenticity, and your explorative side to kind of guide you. I feel like a lot of times like that creative side of us can get kind of buried in trying to do well for exams, trying to get a good grade in the class, whatever, so on and so forth. But I argue that this kind of approach can actually allow us to do better in school. Not only have a more rewarding experience, but allow us to do better. So when you're approaching learning with an open approach, where you're engaging in kind of a deep sense of learning, where you're trying to really understand the material all the way through, and that doesn't mean just learning the details. It means seeing the big picture and really absorbing the information. I like to think about this in the sense of like when we're learning things for biology, there's two approaches. You can either kind of memorize the systems, memorize the way all the organs and all their functions, or you can see things as a dynamic system and see the whole thing as a whole. And that second approach really changed the way that I view my learning, and it has helped me so much because this open approach, it allows for a deeper kind of learning. And this is actually called deep learning, where the information is being encoded better into your memory, so you're actually doing better on your exams. And it's also engaging your dopamine system, which is like your reward pathway in your brain. So the way that this works is you do something good that your brain likes and sends off a bunch of chemicals, and your brain's like, oh, I like that. Like, we want to do that again. And oftentimes this is given kind of like a bad connotation, but honestly, it's a system that we can use to our advantage, and especially in learning. When we approach learning with an open approach where we are truly enjoying learning and we are allowing ourselves to go down those rabbit holes that we're drawn to and allowing ourselves to explore things about the topic that we might be interested in, we are able to kind of create this intrinsic reward and motivation for ourselves where we're getting satisfaction just in the moment from learning from ourselves. Whereas when you look at a closed approach, a lot of the reward and satisfaction and kind of motivation that you have is kind of like an external thing where you get a good grade, or you do well in a class, or you get your dream job. But this approach will not only allow you to kind of hit those milestones that you set for yourself in that closed approach, but this open approach allows you to hit those milestones while also enjoying the process and creating an enjoyment for learning yourself. And this can create a lifelong habit of learning, or a lifelong enjoyment of learning that can really be beneficial to you in the long run. So I challenge you to look at your approach to learning. Are you really getting the most out of your experience? Or is there a way that you can kind of optimize your brain and optimize like your dopamine system and stuff to really get more out of your experience and to enjoy learning and to have it be a lifelong habit for yourself? So Thank you for tuning in today, and I hope to see you next time here on The Vortex.